There's a commission called the Ten Commandments Commission. Any of you knew this? Ten Commandments Commission, a Judeo-Christian initiative for a better tomorrow. This is what it says on their website. The Ten Commandments Commission was formed in the spring of 2005. The main purpose of the organization is to rally public officials, community leaders, international diplomats, and grassroots activists to instill Judeo-Christian values in society. You know what they're saying? We want the Ten Commandments posted and enforced in our government. Well, let me ask you something. If they do that, and that's what they want to do you think it'll be the version found in the book of Exodus chapter 20? Do you think it'll be a slightly different version? What do you think will be different about that version? The fourth commandment. Do you know what way in which the Christian right is going to make it so that their way is passed? It is God's disapproval upon us as a nation. Unless we turn back to God, we're going to have more oil spills. We're going to have more earthquakes. We're going to have more natural disasters. We're going to have more economic crisis. The only solution is turning back to God. Except their version of turning back to God is not the answer to the situation. The devil is two-faced. Listen.
I'm Pastor John Hagee, Senior Pastor of the Cornerstone Church in San Antonio, Texas. I'm delighted to be joining the thousands of spiritual leaders across America who are declaring Ten Commandments Day to be May the 7th, 2006. It's very important that Americans fully understand God's place for the Ten Commandments in our society. The Ten Commandments are not optional. They are the Ten Commandments of God. The Ten Commandments are God's blueprint for a great society. As long as America ignores these Ten Commandments, our society will continue the moral downfall that we are presently experiencing. There is a need to bring back the Ten Commandments to America. Every once in a while we see public schools with children dead and dying on that campus that have been shot by other children because those children have not been exposed to the concept, thou shalt not kill, found in the Ten Commandments.
It's a pretty long video, but I just wanted to get that point out. Do you realize that the same people who were one time saying we're not under the law of God, we're under grace? Remember that? Remember that? We're under grace, and you know, when they began to teach this and the secular world said, oh, really? Even the pastors are preaching that the law of God's done? Oh, great, okay. And now that we're seeing the backlash, these same ministers now say, oh, the law of God is not optional. Really? I thought we weren't under the law. I thought we were under grace. Why are we trying to enforce the Ten Commandments if the Ten Commandments is legalism? Are you with me? And so what's happening, beloved, is that now they're saying, yes, we've got to enforce the law of God, because if we don't, things are going to get worse and worse and worse. And I'll give you a typical example of this. CNN, June 20, this year, Louisiana lawmakers propose prayer to stop oil disaster. Listen to the article. While cleanup crews and technical teams continue efforts to stop crude gushing into the Gulf of Mexico, Louisiana lawmakers are proposing a different approach, prayer. State senators designated Sunday. Maybe I just read that myself and nobody else heard that. State senators designated Sunday as a day for citizens to ask for God's help in dealing with the oil disaster. Thus far, efforts made by mortals to try to solve the crisis have been to no avail, State Senator Robert Adley said in a statement released after last week's unanimous vote for the day of prayer. It is clearly time for a miracle for us. The resolution named Sunday as a statewide day of prayer in Louisiana and calls on people of all religions. How many? all religions throughout the Gulf Coast to pray for an end to the environmental emergency, sparing us all from the destruction of both culture and livelihood. Beloved, do you see where this is going? When this nation seeks to enforce the law of God, the version they will enforce is not the version of the Bible. It will be an attack on the seventh-day Sabbath, and all who go against it will be made to seem like they are fighting against God himself. The founder of dominionism, his name is Rushduni. I want you to listen what Rushduni wrote. Listen to his idea of Christian America. A godly nation must keep the Sabbath to have God's blessing. Embracing not only a weekly observance, this is a legal national duty and requirement. For the nation to deny the Sabbath is to deny God. In a Christian society, the death penalty is still appropriate for the crime of worshiping another God on the Lord's day. Okay, now in case you think this says 1829, this says 1982. This is the basis of dominionism, where Christians are called to exercise dominion over the whole world. This is the movement that is afoot right now. The divorce problem will be solved in a society under God's law because any spouse guilty of capital crimes, adultery, homosexuality, Sabbath desecration, would be swiftly executed. John 16:2, Jesus says, they shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he is doing God service. Beloved, the devil is two-faced. And unless we know our word, our Bible, unless we know this word, beloved, we're going to end up going with the left, totally denying God, or going with the right and being deceived into worshiping the beast and his image.